It's an automatic. So like in the event, when I went to shake somebody's hand, they reach out. When you smile at somebody, it's really hard for you not to just like perk up. There's autonomic responses that we have to literally everything that we do. And we don't take the time to recognize that it's a soundtrack, right? And there's tons of studies done on it. And the only way to like break it is to catch it and then replace it and then repeat.
Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by Weapon X Holsters, quality handmade Kydex holsters made right here in Southern Utah. You can stop by the store, 1397 West Sunset Boulevard, number 115 in St. George, Utah. Hey guys, welcome back to the Derick Leg Podcast. We are in the vault as always. We've got a return guest on today. I'm excited to have him doing huge things over the last, it's almost been a year, I think, since we talked last. So this is Derick Gubler returning. How's it going, man?
Good. I'm happy to be back, dude.
Yeah, it's exciting for me to, one, know that we're still doing the podcast, right? That it's still rolling this long. Like we were just saying, we're a couple months from being 2 years, and that blows my mind. But it's cool to like kind of check in, even though I've followed you the whole year and know what you're doing and know your progress. I think it'd be cool to kind of bring you on, and we'll do like a short check-in, and then really what you're going through now and what your future stuff, future goals, future mindsets, cool. Everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's even cool for me to think back to that time, right? Just to see growth, like whole gap in the gain mentality of like how much you've been able to grow in a year. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Both of us, really. So that's cool.
Yeah. The few things that you've done that I've followed, your masterminds and whatnot, and even just your social media posts, I'm like, dude, when I see your stuff, and I don't, it's not cliche, so don't take it that way. But when I see your stuff, dude, I get pumped.
Good.
Like I'm like, dude, Eric's just a bro, and he's doing it. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like you're a dude.
I don't take that in a bad way at all. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what I'm trying to do, is just get people to think different all the time, dude. Even just, I hear people just have so many limiting beliefs in their life, and that's why I post. Is just, I mean, that's not the only reason why I post. But I just feel like there's so many limiting beliefs and thoughts out there, and I just want to get my voice out. Just because my wife's like, she tells me all the time, dude, not everybody thinks like you. Not everybody thinks like you. I'm like, well, I want them to think like me, so I'm going to post. I'm going to post more.
Well, but when it's when it's coming from a positive message and you want to help people, and that's obvious that you want to help people, I think that stuff does need to get pushed out more, because there's so much negativity and so much bullshit out there.
Yeah. To
have someone that you can follow, like we talked about this a couple episodes ago, like you can preload your social media with, like, the algorithms will pick up the positivity and the Tony Robbinses, the Eric Thomases, the whoever. Like if that's the people you're spending, yeah, there you go. Yeah. If that's the people you're spending time on, it'll pick more of that up. Yeah. And so I think you're a great follow on social media, but even just in your life, I mean, I'm not sitting here trying to pump you up for the first, 10 minutes of the podcast. But
goosebumps, dude.
No, dude, I really appreciate you coming back on. Thanks, I know you're busy. You got a family. You guys just moved into your new house. It's super exciting. So I appreciate you taking some time out, but let's jump in, dude. Let's kind of do like a small update. Personally, I want to know where you're at with the storage units and all that. Obviously killing the game in real estate, what's new? What are some challenges over the last year that you've had to overcome? Yeah. Let's just kind of start there.
Love it. So, I mean, last year, we took a lot of the year just getting everything approved for our storage units, started building them. Hit a few hiccups with getting them built, but we're like so close. I mean, a month and a half away from being open.
Wow.
Right? So we're like right there. We have some of them already built. We would have pads in, but it's been raining, man. It's felt like Washington State with how rainy it's been. And that kind of hinders your concrete. But once we get those pads poured, they erect really fast. It's literally like Legos, like just pieces that are built a certain way, and you just boop, 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 and they know what the contractor knows what to do to put them together like super fast. So then we'll just asphalt, put in some, just finishing touches, and we're ready to rock and roll. So we're taking reservations. If you need a storage unit or need an RV spot, hit me up. 435-619-2841 is my phone number. Let's get those things filled. So
Kangaroo Storage, is that what you're calling it?
In Fort Pierce, so South St. George. So if you're near there, hit me up.
Okay.
little plug for myself.
How does that work? Is it like fairly automated? Is there someone on site? Is there a manager? How does that work?
It's awesome because it's so automated. So for those that are interested in investing in real estate, the reason I chose self-storage is because you could literally you have a website, you have a grid of like your facility. If it's green, that unit is green, you can click on it and reserve it. It's red, it's taken. And so it's that simple. Click on one that's open, the size that you want. Kind of helps you even with like, hey, you can fit this much stuff in here. It takes the human element out of it. Then it takes you through like our waiver, payment process, all the stuff that you need to know, and kicks out a code to get into our gate once you pay. And so that code, then we know who's in our facility, right? It links to their name, lets us know when they come in and when they leave. And then also, the cool thing is like credit cards. So for us to go chase people, one, it's no cash check or whatever. But if their credit card expires or they try to switch it or whatever, there's not one on file, the system knows it. So it will send them a text message, and then all of their stuff is still in the unit and it won't let them in. So if they go to try and grab it or get it or go dump some more stuff off or whatever, it'll send them a text, say, hey, you just haven't paid for this month. So if you want, just put your credit card in this link. And then like it just takes the human element out of it. It's so sweet. So that's kind of the jam there. You don't really need an on-site manager there all the time. Just kind of to check in, make sure nobody's living in any of them.
Sure.
The number one cause of fires in storage facilities is people squatting and living out of the units.
Dude, so where our store is, the Safe Store on Sunset, we have units right behind us.
Yeah.
And it's a common thing. The police officers are like around our building all the time because we also have Switch Point like across the street.
Oh, yeah.
And so we have a couple units behind the store. I do personally. So I've gone back there a couple of times, and like there's clearly like a lady freaking like lifts up a door and comes out and shuts the door. And I mean, she's like obviously living in there, you know. And there's even like a walk-through covered area where you can get to the units from the inside as well, like smaller units. And I've seen people like laying in there sleeping, and although I feel bad for them, I'm like, come on, like, it's kind of hard to do that, like
for sure.
And the police officers, at first I was like, dude, quit bugging them, like they're doing their best, you know. And then the cops told me, they're like, dude, once like we allow this, it becomes normal. Right. And then next thing you know, you got like a tent city out here.
Right.
And we have things in place in St. George for people that are down on their luck or whatever it is. Right. The problem is they typically don't like to follow rules. And so it kind of made me make sense a little more of it. Yeah. We have a laundromat next door to us that's 24/7. And so like I've seen them hanging out in there at night and whatnot when it's cold. But anyway,
makes sense.
Yeah, that is one thing that I've noticed with that unit behind us is the squatters. And that's why I was wondering, like, do you have an on-site person that cruises around every now and then? Or I mean, you got cameras everywhere.
Yeah. So the nice thing is we have the moving company. So we have Kangaroo Moving. And so the manager there is going to be holding, you know, like at the beginning of the day, everybody meets there, picks up the trucks, knows where they need to go to move stuff. So they're there then, and then he can kind of and then we're going to be running a U-Haul out of it as well for extra income.
Okay.
That's the cool thing about storage is there's so many different ways that you can like utilize it, you know, and just make income through U-Haul, and then you can sell stuff like box packing material and locks and different things for the U-Hauls, whatever, right? And then you can even like if you wanted to set up a storage unit and like as like a studio, like you could do that, or like if you were a YouTube person, or like for me and my content, like I could literally just have like a
little backdrop,
stick studio in one of the units or whatever, right? So there's a lot of things that you can do to like utilize and build income a different way.
Are you guys doing like in-unit power and climate controlled and that kind of stuff, or no?
Yeah, so there'll be some smaller climatized, and then the big ones where you could like throw a boat in, those will have power, but all the other ones we didn't want to do that because there's not really a need for it.
Sure. Someone's in there with like a mining crypto.
Right.
Just using your
just
power.
Blasting that 120 volt. Yeah. Burning it out.
Cool, man. I'm stoked for that. There's a lot of things that you've gotten into since we've met, and I'm like, jealous and envious isn't the right word, but just looking up to you, just like, man, that dude's doing it. So I appreciate the example. I mean, that's what you are. So let's jump to the next thing, dude. Family, moving into the new house. How's all that
Yeah.
going? You guys getting used to it?
Well, I mean, it was crazy because, February is when we locked in of 2022 and the market was really good at that time. And not too long after that, rates started to shift, and it was just kind of like watching it go up and up and up. And you're like, crap, this is a gut check. Are we really committed to this house? And it was hard. It was 2022 was a great growth year for us as a couple, with our marriage, with our kids, and just to make sure that we were like really pushing in the right directions in life. Cut out bull crap, just stay focused on what's important. But the reason we stayed committed to it, we said to ourselves the beginning of, the end of 2021, our goal is to get into our $1 million home plus in 2022. We're going to do it, right? We've dreamt about it since we were first married 6.5 years ago. And we now are in it, right? So like the whole goal setting thing, it was intentional. And that helped a lot. When things got tough and we went from rates that were at like 2.75 all the way up to 7.5, where we're literally like our mortgage payment jumped like $3,000,
That's bananas.
And then when rates went up, the value of our current home that we're going to sell or pull money out of went down. So it's like a double negative. Like money's going down on our current home. The other one is like it's locked into that price, but the rate, the payment is just skyrocketing. We're like, God, like this is painful, but we found a way. And we found a way. We got a 2-1 buy down, which the seller then pays your interest for the first 2 years.
Explain that a little bit if you can.
A 2-1 buy down.
To it.
A 2-1 buy down, and I'll jump right back to the house. Yeah, I mean, a 2-1 buy down, basically the seller has to pay for it, and it has to be a conventional loan. Could be FHA. It has to be a primary residence, I'll say. And the 2 stands for 2% off whatever current rates are. So when we locked in, we got kind of lucky. It went from 7.5 to 6.5 overnight, which we're like, oh, thank you. We locked in that day. Glad we did. So now our rate is at 4.5. It's nice for the first year, right? Second year, it's only 1%, so it'll go to 5.5. And then worst case scenario, if rates don't go down to, below that, then we're at 6.5. We know where we're at, right? But that money, the seller has to pay for it. They're basically just prepaying all that interest up front to the mortgage company because they can't legally give you money. That would be fraud. But they can pay your interest in advance. And that's what it is. So for buyers today, it's perfect because if you're looking to get into your first home, if you're looking to like your first time home buyer, or maybe you're just trying to make it happen and you want to get into your $1 million home or your dream home, rates are going to go down in the next 2 years. You heard it here first. They're going to go down in the first 2 years. You didn't hear it here first. There's a lot of people that feel that way. And it's probably going to happen, in my opinion, in the next 6 to 12 months. And so if you think about it, go get them to pay for it. Then you can save a crap. I'm saving $800 to $900 a month.
Yeah, up front. Yeah,
a month my first year. Okay, and then about half that the next year. I think I can refinance in the first year, but that's a lot of money.
Sure,
right? That you're saving, and it just makes it not as tight. And then when the rates do go down, here's the cool thing too that a lot of people don't know. If rates went down 3 months from now, well, it's like an escrow account. That money, let's call it $10,000 for even number, easy numbers to work with. Well, no, let's call it $12,000. It's $1,000 a month. Okay. So, it doesn't work out that clean, but let's say $650 per month goes away and 3 months go by. Okay. So we'll actually call it 6 and my brain doesn't work that way. $1,800 are gone of that $12,000. Whatever's left over, which is like now $10,200, that's yours, right? That's all your money. That goes into the equity in your home. When you just prepay, when you pay the like points down on the interest rate, that's gone.
Right.
It's gone forever. It's like paying rent. With the 2-1 buy down, whatever's left over once you go to refinance, you keep that.
Right. Like so it basically goes into another account.
Goes into the equity in your home.
Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it sits in an escrow account, and then it's just paid to the mortgage company every month, and whatever you don't use is yours. To me, it's like, I'm game.
Yeah.
I'm game.
So now I think the next, and I want to come back to what you're talking about, but I think this is very interesting, especially you in the real estate world and me just barely chipping at the iceberg of starting to get into real estate. You can get extremely creative with a lot of things nowadays. The next question with that 2-for-1 buy down is, why would a seller do that?
because there's 1,500 homes on the market. It's more competitive right now.
Yeah, a year ago they probably wouldn't have.
Heck no.
But now they're like, okay, rates are going up, prices are starting to either plateau or come down. Like, I need to get out of this house. Right.
100%. I mean, we went from in COVID, we had 300 homes on the market at one point. I remember. That's like unprecedented. Like, I've never seen it that low. Today we're sitting just hovering a little above 1,400. At one point we were at like 1,650. So we've actually come down. I actually feel like the market is already starting to get a little bit better. And traditionally in the spring anyway, we get better in St. George. For a healthy market on both sides. Okay. Like to where like sellers, because it's been coming down. I just want to see it just kind of trade sideways and appreciate 5% a year. You know, just a healthy upward tick, right? We went up too fast and we're still way ahead from where we were pre-COVID. Way ahead, right? I don't see foreclosures on the horizon. It just can't happen. There's too much equity. And even the people that bought, I mean, the small percentage of people that bought at the peak, right? There's just not that many to be able to cause a huge economic collapse in the housing market. There's just not.
Yeah, there was a very small amount of time, like a very small window of people that bought at the high dollar amount with a high interest rate.
Yes.
Like it flipped so fast.
Yes.
You either got a high purchase price and a very low interest rate, or your 6-7% interest rate and a somewhat moderate.
Right. And you think about it, you said it like their interest rate is still pretty good, right? Because the interest rates went up really fast and there's very few that bought during that time.
Yeah.
But then we got to take and look at it. Okay, well, that doesn't mean though that everybody that bought during that time is going to lose their house.
Exactly.
They're not going to lose their job. So again, we're a subset of a subset of a subset. Very small percentage, right?
Yeah.
Especially in this town.
Right.
So for that to happen doesn't seem likely at all. I mean, we're talking almost non-existent. So when I get calls and say, hey, Eric, I'm looking at trying to find some foreclosures because I think people are really hurting right now. It's BS.
Yeah.
There's no way to be able to do that because there's too much equity in the house. Majority of people are sitting on $150,000, $200,000 worth of equity still. So even if they lowered their house $75,000 of what things are going for, and they're getting foreclosed on by the bank. They just go, okay, well, we'll list it super low because we're in trouble. It's got 5 offers still, right? I mean, there's still buyers out there. You know what I mean? It'll still sell.
Yeah. I mean, if you found a deal like that, you'd have a line of people.
There's still people that would do it.
And they're still taking $100K out of it after the sale.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's funny because I think that especially people maybe our age and older, like we lived through 07, 08, 09, and I think it kind of skews our mindsets.
Yes, absolutely. Because it was the only recession where the market went down.
Yes.
There's been 8. And it was 1 of 8. So the other 7, the market actually typically appreciated. So everybody thinks the last one is the worst one, and that's the PTSD.
Right.
So they think that's going to happen again. It's not very likely. The numbers don't show that that's the most likely thing to happen.
Right. Yeah. I love that, dude. Little blip right there of what's going on in real estate and interest rates. And but I'm learning a lot of that right now with just getting creative about financing in different ways to your 10% second homes, there's tons of stuff. I'm a part of Vodacy. We had Amy Stevens in, she did an Ironman actually. And then we got talking about what she does for a job and she works for Vodacy. They're like a coaching, mastermind for short-term rentals. And that's how I ended up buying that one down by Palm Springs.
Heck yeah.
And so I kind of got involved in that and dude, it's just blown my mind up about what's even possible.
Yeah.
Like just working your 9 to 5 versus, can you put $1,000 away a month? And a lot of people can't, don't get me wrong. I mean, Amanda and I are in a position that we typically can. And that's what's got us into this house that it's been a freaking project because it was like a simple paint job and get it live to like a full remodel now.
Oh, wow.
And so we're hoping to be live at the end of the month. So when we do that, and for people listening, we'll post it on like the podcast, like the link to it and stuff. So people can go look at it. It's actually,
everybody save it to your favorites and like it and then just boost it post, right? So
yeah, and it's right outside Joshua Tree National Park.
Nice.
We're maybe 15 minutes from the park entrance. It's 2 acres. It actually has 2 separate houses. And then it has a pool in between.
Sick.
And so we're pretty jacked about it. It's just been a lot of work. Just dragging out,
Dude, so I love that part though. I got to highlight this is where you said it's been a lot of work. Like you're right in the grind And I want to point this out. This is like a different skew, but like you're the right path for this, I guess, with what I'm about to say. Good things are usually hard. And what I see in real estate more than anything, and I really want to highlight this, so I hope Mallory and you guys put this on there because this is like freaking needs to be said and it needs to be heard. Real estate is not easy. And do not have the mindset that if I'm going to go purchase a house, God is going to prepare the way for this to be easy, or else I'm not going to do it. Biggest BS I've ever heard. Right?
Sure.
God, in my opinion, the God that I believe in, if you're going to pull religion into it, fine, let's play religion. Doesn't he want us to work through adversity? Isn't that how we grow?
Exactly.
So God is the same in all things, right? And so I just hate that mindset. I just got to put it out there because I see it more than anything. That is what keeps people from reaching their goal. That fear of, oh, this trial. Oh, they didn't accept our counter right away. Oh, I thought we were going to get that one, but we didn't. Maybe I should just give up. No, that is the adversity that's going to help you win.
Right.
Don't waste that. Like that pain, don't waste that pain. Go and find a way to make it happen. So I want to honor you for going through it and to be, because it's going to work out. Like I have no doubt that because I see that you're going and you're progress, like you are going through the hard, like trenches of getting that thing done and live and listed. And there's probably a little bit of fear or doubt or like, crap, we need to start making money on this. We're just putting money into it. That is normal.
Right.
For everyone that's listening to this, that is normal.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I have a thing that plays in my mind. I reference Eric Thomas on my podcast a lot. He's kind of
love him. Yeah.
Like he helped me kind of switch my mindset in a lot of ways, but it was right when I was like hungry for it. And then my brother Adam actually sent me the As Bad As You Want to Breathe.
Yeah.
Little lecture, quote, skit, whatever it is that he does. And that's the first time I've ever heard anything from him. And then I just dove in. And I was when I was building holsters in my basement. And so I would just put headphones on and I would just have Eric Thomas like motivating me to, at 2:00 in the morning, trying to finish holsters. And that's one thing he says. It kind of talks about what you just said. He says, like his quote is basically, he had someone in his office crying about how hard this class was and how the school was, and they're going to quit. And he's like, quit? You're already in pain. Like you're already there. You're already going through it. Push through, get to the end.
Yes.
Like try to endure a little pain. He even says like, I dare you to go through some pain. And he says, you're already in pain, get a reward from it.
Yes, because everything good is on the other side of pain.
Exactly. And so that's whenever I'm kind of going through stuff, regardless of what it is, relationships, business, this house, our mail routes, whatever it is, I'm always just like, all right, yeah, this sucks right now. But
yeah,
it's like, it's also this, dude, this plays too. And maybe this is kind of dumb, but freaking Shrek, right?
Okay.
I love Shrek. I quote it all the time. Okay. And so they're on the bridge going to the castle where the princess is and the dragon, right?
It's been a while.
Okay. So they're going across that bridge and the donkey hits one of the wooden planks on the bridge and it breaks, right? And he's like, oh, I'm going back. And Shrek's like, what are you talking about? We're halfway. Keep going. Like, get to the other side. And he says, well, I know that half is safe. And so I've always thought of like, that half is comfortable. Like quitting and being okay with what you've done, like that's comfortable because you've already gotten past that point. Yeah. But you need to keep going and push to get to the other side. I don't know. Dude, so I always play that in my head too.
That's good.
And now I need to go back and watch it. But so that's where I've been, dude, with it. Like I said, it was supposed to be kind of a paint job. Me and my brother go down for a weekend, paint the whole thing and get live. And now we've done countertops, redone bathrooms, redone all the flooring, and like I said, it's 2 houses. So it's been a lot of work, but we're hoping this weekend, my brother Jason and I are going to go down with Jason's girlfriend, stage the whole thing, clean it all, get all the beds set up, TVs hung, all of that. And then next weekend, my oldest brother, Mike, who's been helping me out a lot on it, we're going to go down and do some backsplash tile work and dude, awesome. And freaking cross my fingers we're live. So
yeah, love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's exciting. But anyway, dude, I keep on hijacking your story, dude.
No, it's good.
So yeah, you had a huge year, 2022. Moved to the new house, relationship.
Yeah, Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, every single goal that we set to accomplish, we accomplished in 2022. And that was really, really cool. And that's the gap in the gain mentality we got to focus on too as humans. We got to focus on, hey, yeah, just because we got there, whatever, we got to look back and celebrate it. We got to have that moment because that's part of fulfillment. You should celebrate it, right? And that just should get you more motivated to be able to keep going forward.
Right.
It's the idea that if you're always looking out on the horizon, you will circle the globe continuously and never reach a destination. But if you can pick a destination on the horizon, get there, look back, you can see the distance that you've come and see your growth. That's fun. That's fulfilling to me.
Yeah.
So we got to remember that as entrepreneurs, I feel like, because too often we put our head down and we just forget.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're exactly right. You're looking for the future. You're setting goals. You're hitting milestones. And it gets exhausting. It
gets exhausting, and you don't see the progress over a month. You got to look back over like maybe 6 months to a year, and then you can see it, right? So I think, one, it's just hard to see because you're in the trenches every day and you don't feel like you're moving the needle. But the farther you look back, if you just keep pushing, like I look at myself 6 years ago, my life is completely different. Yeah. I wouldn't even know if I could like associate with who I am today. Like I would feel intimidated.
Even like that guy.
I would feel intimidated by the man that I am today.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I don't know if I could hang out in his circle. And how does that happen? I'm the same person. And how does it happen where somebody who's been doing the same thing for 20 years is still the same person and hasn't leveled up?
Right.
It's because the soundtrack that they play in their mind is that I can't. Or I'm just going to stay in the same spot, where I'm just going to work this job because it's safe, or I'm going to hang out in the same group of friends that aren't pushing themselves. This is comfortable. It's the back half of that bridge. Right? And so all those soundtracks that we play in our mind are the things that keep us back. The quality of the soundtrack that we play in our mind is what is going to drive us into progression. How do we get better soundtracks? It's hanging out with people and going to places and reading books where there's higher level soundtracks that we can play in our brain when we're met with a situation. That's it. It's that simple, but it takes consistent work and effort. And that's the biggest difference for me. I feel like, honestly, Derick, looking back 6 years, it's going to lunch with people. It's going to masterminds. It's reading books. It's listening to Audible versus music, right? It's reading books in the morning and meditating and thinking about my goals and setting goals. And then you look back and you're like, holy crap, I'm a totally different person. And that's fun for me.
Yeah.
Super fun. And then it makes you also feel like, okay, what else can I do now in another 5 years, right?
Yeah. Yeah. With that said, Eric does a really good mastermind. Well, you've done like 6 or 7. How many have you done?
Let's see. I don't want to get that high. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4.
4?
We've done 4.
4 masterminds so far. He just did one with Michael Isom. And he doesn't know this yet, but I'm going to reach out to him and try and get him on the podcast. But and I'll say this too, because I think you guys did a little twist, and you may have done it before, but I noticed it this time. You guys live streamed it too. And so it's not even like you have to
It's the second one we've live streamed, but yeah.
You have to take time out of your day to go, you guys did a title company, just a local building in town.
Yeah.
You don't have to do all of that. Like you can just tune in live. You're at work, throw some headphones on, whatever your day brings you.
We're usually Tuesdays at 10:30 in the morning, usually. It seems like this last time we had 113 people signed up. Some people were online, some people were in person, which the group of people in person, there was a good level in that room.
For sure.
There was 3 people in that room that made over 10 million in revenue a year. So for anybody listening, if you want to be able to get that invite, it's free. It's literally just me trying to add value to people's lives and connect with people. So all you need to do is just follow me on Instagram and shoot me a message and say, hey, for the next event that's coming up, the next one's in March. I think it's the 23rd. Just say, hey, I'd love to get the live stream. If you're out of state and you're listening to Derick's podcast, let's do it. Like, I'd love to get you on that. So appreciate you bringing it up too.
Yeah, no.
Because I'm passionate about it.
I know you are. That's what I was saying, where it comes from a place of you legitly trying to help people.
Yes.
And the proof's there. But the cool thing about being live, so I've been to a couple of them live. Dude, it's just the people in that room. Yeah. And the cool thing is like you have the real business owners go there. You have a lot of real estate agents there.
Justin Prince did one.
Yeah, yep. Justin Prince, Jefferson Rogers. Like you have these guys.
Jeff's coming up soon.
Is he?
Yeah, we're gonna get him on. He doesn't know that yet either, but he's gonna be on there.
But it's just you can rub shoulders with these guys. That's the whole point I'm trying to get at. Is there's these very high level people. And I used to think this. I used to be like, well, I'm not on those guys' level. I shouldn't be there. It's like anybody can come to this. right? I mean, anybody can come to this thing.
Yeah.
Anybody can tune in. Anyone can learn from people on that level.
Absolutely.
And so
there's kids from high school that are doing big things.
Yeah.
But there was high school kids, people who just got off their LDS missions. I mean, young kids that were there eating it up.
Yeah, you can, like I said, I thought at the beginning, I thought it was just a real estate type thing. And then I was like, oh no, anybody can go to this.
Absolutely. This is more of like a mindset, be the best version of you. Every time that I get up there, I say, look, the purpose of this is to help you be the best version of you, because I feel like my purpose in life, and I think this is important that you find your purpose in life, follow it, is my purpose in life is to help men be better men and women be better women. And that's why I do it.
Yeah.
I don't get paid for it. I actually lose money.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. The whole thing's free.
Yeah.
Is that the plan? Is it always going to be free?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Money makes the dream work. So if there's enough interest in enough people, it's just feeding your baby, right? It just takes it to higher levels and get better people on stage. So if people want that, then great. Yeah, absolutely. I think this. With money, I don't look at it as a bad thing to charge, because money is just a receipt of value that you've created.
Yes.
So if people see the value in it, they're going to want to pay. They're naturally going to feel like there's an invoice waiting for them, right? And so I want to build it up to that point where we can grow the value enough to where people are just naturally like, I want to be a part of this, and I'm happy to pay X amount of dollars to be
only $50, only $500, whatever level it gets to, if it goes that route. Yeah, and I agree. And it holds people accountable to be there and want to be there. And I don't know, dude. I love it. I've never been that guy. It's been a couple of years of me trying to grow. And when like Brent Skinner and McCrae and all those guys were doing the $100 dinner after COVID, that's kind of where I like broke through my wall of like being uncomfortable around those people. Yeah. In my mind, what that level of people were. And so I kind of just got myself out there. And I think that's what got me into all of this. It was rubbing shoulders with Jefferson at those things. Yeah. It was Jefferson bought a safe from me. It was me being on Jefferson's podcast. I sat in on the one you were on. That's how we met.
Yeah,
and so it's like this whole ball started rolling for me. And so there you go. I wasn't even going to bring that up, but that's the proof right there. You want to be on a higher level, get around higher level people.
Absolutely.
And in my experience, and you can, if yours is different, that's fine. You can share it. People like that are fine with you being around. Like I always was intimidated thinking like they don't want me, like this little business owner or this little 9-to-5 worker or whatever you are.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was worthy to be around them. And I thought that they thought I wasn't worthy to be around them. And that's just not the case.
It's a soundtrack.
There you go.
It's literally a soundtrack that's playing in your mind, right? And it's not true. Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence that it's true?
Right.
There's a thing called the stack that you can look up, and Wake Up Warrior does it. And you basically just go through a process of realizing, is this true? Is this a true thought? Does it serve me? Right? Is this something that helps me? And you just kind of unravel those thoughts, right? But again, the quality of our soundtrack is what. For you to do that, you've had to change your soundtrack.
Sure.
Absolutely. Right. So I honor you for that, to be able to change that. Because I've seen you, dude, even from when I first met you. I mean, I'm like, dude, Derick's doing amazing. You've stayed consistent with 80 episodes. Right. That's a superpower, dude. Like a lot of people don't go 80 episodes deep.
Yeah, thanks.
I don't know what the number, the failure rate is, but I'm guessing it's pretty high.
Sure. Yeah, and it was kind of a commitment to myself, and this is going to kind of piggyback on what we've already been talking about getting through things. And like that's how you grow. That's how you gain confidence. That's how you move through things. That's how you, whatever you want to put to it, whatever word you want to put to it. I put confidence to it, but I talk about confidence a lot. You want to gain some confidence, make some promises to yourself and follow through with it. Yeah. And a lot of times it's harder than you think it is, just making small promises to yourself, setting an alarm and getting up at the right time, doing a podcast and going all in and, trying to be as consistent as you can every week. We've missed 2 weeks in 80 weeks.
Yeah.
So 82 weeks, we've missed 2 weeks.
So good.
And one of those was like a Thanksgiving. And I was just like, you know what, dude, my grandparents are in town. We'll skip it this week, type of thing. But yeah, to be consistent, make a promise to yourself, and I'll segue this into my next thing. I was never a goal person. I never set goals. I had goals in my mind. Like I knew what I wanted to accomplish, but I never wrote them down. I never put them on my wall. I never wrote them on my mirror, whatever people do. But I was always like, yeah, I want the safe store to be profitable. So it was profitable. Yeah. But so this year I actually wrote goals down. I printed them out. I laminated it. I have 3 different cards I've stuck in 3 different areas. I listened to, I'm part of Arte Syndicate with Ed Milet and Andy Frisella. And Ed was talking about triggers and setting triggers in your way. So when you open your car door, you implant it in your mind that that's a trigger to go through your goals. And he had his own things, right? So me, it's like, well, when I'm getting ready in the morning, when I'm in the shower, when that water hits me, I start going through my goals. When I get in my car, when I shut the car door, and I have them in my car, so I have a little laminated goal sheet sitting there that when I start the car, I look at it and I know what they are. I read through every one of them. And so it's set it in your way. I have a text or a reminder that goes every Monday morning that just says goals. And I have them on a note card in my phone. I can go through them. And I think one thing I've never realized is keeping them in your mind, you can kind of go through it. Yeah, okay, the store is profitable, but what at what level?
Right.
And I can't look back and say, I hit that goal. Like you said, you hit every goal last year.
It's not measurable.
Right.
Yeah.
And so having them written down, having them on a paper, in my phone, different triggers, I'm reminded about it multiple times during the day, not even just once a month or just January and then never thought about again for the rest of the month or rest of the year, right? I have different triggers that trigger that to me, and I can kind of recite them. Now, when I get a couple months down the road and I start checking some of these off, or at least start, some of them are like, one of them that I have is speak 12 times in local high schools this year. And I kind of have one lined up. We haven't set a date, but I've been approved to go in and talk. And so like, that's basically 12 goals in one. And so I can cross one of those off, I can kind of start chipping at that list.
Yes.
And so it's something I'm already realizing, 12 days into the year?
Yeah.
That having those written down and having them in front of me, it sets a precedent for, okay, now I can check that one off. I accomplished that, versus just kind of a broad thought process of it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They have to be measurable. Yeah. I mean, the easiest way to get into goals is to look at fitness, right? A lot of people say, well, I'm going to get a gym membership and I'm going to start going to the gym. That's a goal. It's not a very good one, because how is that measurable? Here's the problem is people are going to go with the easiest path, right? So if you have a goal to go to the gym and get a gym membership and show up, and that's your goal, then this is why people show up for the first week and then they fall off the second week of the whole year and they never go back till the middle of the year, is because when they start to feel the pain and they get tired in the morning at 6 a.m. and the alarm goes off, they think to themselves, these are literally the soundtracks that go through their mind, right? Oh, I'm tired. Okay, is today arm day or leg day? I need to go. I don't know. I hate leg day. I haven't done it for a while, but I'm just going to do arm day. Well, okay, what am I going to do with arm day today? I don't know. My biceps are really sore. My back's really sore. My chest's really sore. Maybe I should just take a rest day. Okay, I'll take a rest day. And that is, it works for you and it works against you. So if you want to break a bad habit, what you do is you make it more difficult to get to that bad habit. Put it in a folder, in a folder, in a folder in your brain that makes it harder for you to get there. That's what people do when they set week goals, right?
Yeah.
They're setting it in a folder, in a folder, in the folder, and they don't even know what the other folders have because they've never dove into those. So instead, this is what I want people to do. Say, look, start with, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. That's quantifiable. Now we need to say how long. Okay, I'm going to go to the gym for 5 days a week for 45 minutes a day. And now I'm going to go buy an app that there's so many out there, right? I'm going to go buy an app that will tell me what to do and show me video of every single workout and how to do it properly so I'm not intimidated for every single workout, right? So now we're getting more and more specific, right? And then in those apps, or you hire a coach to give you a meal plan. And it's all broken down, whether you get a scale and you weigh your food, Or you get a little bit more free and say, well, it doesn't matter so much as long as I hit my macros, my proteins, fats, and carbs, right? But look how specific that is.
Right.
I'm going to hit 2,200 calories. That's how much I'm going to eat. I'm going to wake up at this time. I'm going to go for 45 minutes, 6 a.m. I'm going to go for 45 minutes. And on Mondays, I hit arms and I hit chest. Chest day is Monday. Everybody knows that chest day is Monday. So on Monday, I'm doing chest day, right? And then it's like, okay, when you're tired, you just shoot out of bed because you're like, I don't have to think about all that other crap. I just follow the system. I follow the process. So how do we take that to make money? Do it the same way. Get super specific. How many sales do I need to make today? How many people do I need to talk to? What are my deliverables? What are my core bricks that I need to hit today in order to hit my number? And what is my number? Go to the folder, and then write that down. And it's like, that's how I'm going to get what I want to get. And then when you look back, you're going to be like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Right? It's not going to go over a week. You have to stay consistent, just like everything else. It's atomic habits. It's little bits over time. So even if you have to start small, but get specific on what you want to do. That's the key.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny on mine. So my number one goal is to be closer to my wife and my son. And it's like you were saying, and I guess I need to go a few steps further. So I went one step further in that. I put date night once a week with my wife, and my son goes to daycare every day. My wife will have one day off a week and then sometimes Sunday. And so he's home with her, but every other day he's in daycare every day.
Yeah.
And there's been once or twice where I've just taken him with me.
Yeah.
And if I have a day that I'm driving around or I'm doing something, or even I had a day last week, I just stayed home with him all day. And so on there, it's to get closer to my son. The next step down is one day a week. I need to take him he needs to have a dad day, not a daycare day.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, okay, maybe I need to have him for 7 hours, and maybe we need to eat 3 times. And, and so I'm thinking like, what more steps do I need to go to?
Yeah.
And I don't know, dude, I like that you said that, because I'm thinking, like I said, I'm new with this whole goal thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to think, and it's funny because I did recognize that though, closer to my wife, closer to my son. And then I went to number 2 and number 3 and then I was like, well, wait, like, what does that mean?
Yeah. What is closer? How do you quantify it? How do you measure it? How can you look back and say, I hit that goal, right?
Yeah.
That's smart.
And kudos to my wife. Like, I haven't been there much, for my wife and my son, because I'm going, I'm pushing.
And people need to hear that, because entrepreneurs are that way.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's and I'm realizing, it's like, it's so cliche, dude. I come home, I walk in the door, my son sees me, daddy, runs up to me, right? And it's like, you hear about all these great things about having kids and they do that, but man, live that.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple times just recently, and I'm working on being present. That's another big thing I'm trying to do this year, is be more present. And so I walked in the other day and I put my jacket up and he comes booking it around the couch, coming at me. And I just thought, like, man, like, this is it.
Man.
Like what's more? And then, like, my wife's hanging out on the couch. She's on her laptop on the couch, and he gets off of her lap and runs over to me. And I just kind of paused and I just looked and I just thought, dude, like, this is it.
That's what it's all about.
And yeah, like, you can,
dude, I'm like getting the chills. I'm ready to cry, dude.
Dude, like, in reality, yeah, dude, I go to work and I try and do these things, and I'm trying to put, start a real estate portfolio, and I'm trying to build. I'm not a business owner anymore, or I'm not self-employed. I'm trying to become a business owner, and I'm trying to do these things and take different steps so I can one day, hopefully sooner than later, spend more time with them, or not even have to be a part of that, and it all can run itself. Yeah. And I'm working it. That's one of my big things to touch on when I go talk. So I have this outline when I'm going to go talk to the high school class, and that's one of them is, hey man, like, find a problem, work through a solution, make that solution profitable. If it's a product, let's just say it's a product, make that product solves a problem. Now, the margins are better, make more money than you're losing by doing it. And congratulations, you're self-employed.
Yeah.
Like, is that what you want? Like, is that the end goal? And for me, it was my whole life. I wanted to work for myself, and not saying there's anything wrong with that. The plumbers that own their own business and do their own thing, the framers, whatever your business is that you're self-employed with, And I've realized like, that's not even what I want, man. I want to be a business owner.
Yeah.
I want to, and a lot of that's like, I want employees. Like I like being able to supply something to people that they can go out and make a living for themselves and support their family. But I'm like, the whole drive of that was that 10 seconds that it took for my son to run up to me and think like, this is what it's about.
Yeah.
Like, this is why I'm going on 12 hours today right now and doing the podcast at night.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I don't even know why I shared that.
That's
it just kind of touched me.
I got the chills, dude. I literally like felt it a shock through my body. So I'm glad you said it, because as men too, I think we struggle with it more, and it can cause tension and rift. But the number one, I look at it this way. I mean, this is the greatest analogy I've ever heard on this. So you have balls in life that you're juggling, and as an entrepreneurs, I argue that you have more balls to juggle. You got to get better at them, and all of them are rubber, except one, and one of them is glass. That glass ball is your family. So if you're going to juggle these balls and you got all these things that you got to do, the one ball that you don't want to drop is the glass ball. Because if you drop that glass ball, it's not going to bounce back.
Sure.
Right? So everything else can bounce back. And think about that. Your business. You have skills, you have human life value that you've learned in business that even if you had to, let's say heaven forbid, but somebody in my family, your family gets cancer and you got to go tend to that and you can't be at your business. You still have that. Go take care of the family, because that ball can bounce back, but not your family. You know what I'm saying?
That's good. I love that.
It's deep stuff if you think about it, but it's true.
Yeah. When people would come on here that were business owners or entrepreneurs or whatever, at whatever level they were, I'd always say, 'cause selfishly for myself, I'd say, how are you balancing work and family? Yeah. And I was like expecting an answer, like, okay, dude, this is what you need to do. Like that's what I was expecting. And everyone's like, you don't.
Here's a framework.
Yeah. You don't, like you do your best, but you don't. Yeah. And I'm realizing that's more and more true. I mean, with that said, I've been working for myself for 12 years and, we didn't have a family till 2 years ago, it was my wife and I, and she was working just as hard as I was. And still, she works harder than me now, but, I don't know, dude, the whole, entrepreneur thing, it's great. I love it. I wouldn't change my life. I would not, I would if I had to, but I wouldn't want to go work for someone else doing as long as I have. And, it's hard. There's days where I'm like, dude, are we even making money here? Is this even worth it? Or even like, is this a business that my son would even want to take over? Yeah. Or would I even tell him to take this over? Right. Or whatever level that is. But I don't know. It fulfills something in me for sure.
Yeah. The fulfillment, dude. I'm glad you said that, because you think about fulfillment. Like if you don't have that constant, like, solving problems, growing, progressing, learning, like it's unfulfilling for me and you. Yeah. And for a lot of people, because we're all built as creators. I would argue all of us are creators, many creators, and we love to create. I believe that.
Yeah.
So if you talk about fulfillment, like that is fulfillment, finding the superpower that you have and then just focusing on that, because everything else is really, if you're going to try to dabble in crypto and you're going to dabble in this and that, like Mike Isom said at the mastermind, it's called gambling.
I loved that, dude.
Focus on what you're good at and that you're knowledgeable in and that you have control over. That's not gambling. You have control over that. Everything else that you don't have control or expertise and knowledge in, that's called gambling.
Right.
Because you have lack of control in a lot of areas.
Yeah, I needed to hear that.
Everyone in the room needed to hear that. Yeah. So yeah, that fulfillment part, man, I think about that a lot. And you know what? That the human life value that Mike talked about, and then I'll mention here. Human life value is the creator of all property value, right?
Right.
So when we think about being an entrepreneur, I hope everybody looks at it this way, that you're not going to get rich, right? Don't think I'm going to go make that money by being an entrepreneur. That's the wrong way to look at it. Because when he said that, I automatically got pumped and I was like, I'm going to go make 10 million this year. I'm going to go. And then what did I share with everybody at the end? I was like, but that's not what he said the whole time. The whole time he said, don't chase the money. Don't tie your identity to the money, right? When you tie your identity to money and you lose it, you lost your identity.
Right.
Right? And you forget the human life value that you have inside of you that you can go and build it again. Right?
Right.
The true asset in life is people. People. What gives assets value? People do. And what they want, the demand for it. People are your greatest asset. Never forget that, right? So I think why we like entrepreneurship so much is because we innate, whether we're consciously aware of it or subconsciously aware of it, we are gaining human life value and it feels good.
Wow.
And the money is just a receipt of that.
Sure. Yeah, I've heard you say that before about money's just the receipt of adding value or
value creation.
Or value creation. Yep. And I'm like, dang, man, like that's a whole nother angle to look at it.
Yeah.
But I think you probably have to go through some stuff that we've gone through, especially being an entrepreneur. Like I'm just trying to look at this at a different angle, and I could be completely wrong. If I'm a 9-to-5 accountant or working fast food, like I probably don't have that angle. And if you said that to them, I don't know that they would view it that way. I think that people that have gone through, having to support other people, having to work for a customer. I mean, like I'm not self-employed. I don't work for myself. I work for customers. And now that I have a few businesses where we have employees, I still don't work for myself. Now I work for the employees and I work for their kids and I work for the people they support.
Yeah.
And there's just different angles to look at these things. And I think that when you've said that before about it being the receipt, I'm like, that's what it is. Yeah. I think it clicked for me because everyone says, don't chase the money, don't chase the money, don't chase the money. But it's never meant anything to me. Like I've never been able to tie a different view to it. So when you said that, I was like, yeah, dude, that's it.
Chase the value.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you want to get rich, chase the value, chase the value, chase the value.
Right.
Create more value. Have more value. More interpersonal value.
And I think people that get that, like Justin Prince said that to me when I invited him on the podcast the first time. Yeah, do anything I can do to add value.
Yeah.
And I was always like, yeah, dude, like, and not this is not about Justin in particular, but I'm like, people say that and I'm like, okay, cool, dude. Like, that's just a cool thing to say.
Yeah.
That dude wants to add more value in the most genuine way than anybody I've ever met in my entire life. Yeah. And so that, again, that was another like tweak in my mindset of that. I mean, he is ultra successful,
right? Ultra successful.
Yep. And that's not even how he would describe himself.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's not even the top.
He's still hungry.
10. Right.
He's told me before, I'm hungrier than I've ever been.
Right.
I've heard him say that. Yeah. And he could easily just retire.
Sure.
With a freaking amazing house.
And have a great life.
Assets, a great life.
Yeah.
But again, it's not about the money. It's about the value that he has. Why would he suffocate that? That's the fulfillment. Mm-hmm. I used to think this all the time. Little plug again, little side note, go off on this for a second. If anybody felt this way, I used to feel this way. Why would Mark Cuban keep working? Why would Bill Gates keep working? Why would Elon Musk keep working? They don't need to. They have so much money that they could live 10 lifetimes and be totally fine. Or support 10 lives. Way more than 10 lives. Right?
Countries. Yeah.
And have an incredible lifestyle. Why would they do it? I used to think as a kid, why don't they just liquidate everything, put it in a safe investment fund and just let it accrue some interest and live off that and just be good?
Yeah, take their 7% and
it made no sense to me. I'm like, why wouldn't you just want to go on the beach and sip lemonade all the time and go on vacation and buy your yacht and do all this stuff?
But here they are sleeping 4 hours a night and working.
Right.
Yeah,
Why?
Hours.
Why? I used to think it's because they're chasing the dream, the value. That's fulfilling. Not sitting on the beach when they get there. I think they do, all of them. I think they take some time.
Yeah.
And they do. They have fun. But the value, the thing that drives them, that like burning inside is like, go create value. And that's the hit. It's a dopamine hit. Mm-hmm. It is. And without that, like life is, right? Life is boring.
No, it's a good way to put it, dude. We've had a few people on here and I've talked to a few people that go speak in high schools. And I don't know what it is for me that gets me. Like I look up to people that do that. I'm like, man, dude, good for you. And I again, it's like, I look up to them to borderline jealousy where I'm like, dude, I kind of want to go do that. And I don't know why. I didn't even like high school. I couldn't wait to get out of there,
Yeah.
And, but it's like this thing in me, every time someone talks about that, I'm like, man, I kind of want to go do that. And that's why, and so again, dude, on my list, I was like, speaking of high school this year. And then I was like, one? Like, there's a lot of days in this year. Like, I'm going to speak once. And so then I was like, 5 times. And then I thought, okay, well, if I want to do it 5 times, I'm going to put 12. And dude, if I can get to 12, great. If I do 5, great.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that like 10x or, however you want to put to it that way. But then I started thinking like 12 and I put 12 down. That's what's on my sheet is 12 times. And then I was like, okay, so 1 a month. And then I was like, well, wait, school isn't in every month. And so I'm like, I'm going to have to start doubling up on this, And so I started thinking like, maybe I kind of overshot this a little bit. And then I was like, well, no, I can do it. Yeah. And then I started thinking, I told you the other night, I stayed up till 4 a.m. just writing this outline, and I'm not a writer. My soundtrack, right? I got to change that, but
I am not. So that's the worst because you're saying I am, which is like putting yourself at like that. That is a like, you're calling yourself like that is who I am as a part of me.
That's embedded. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's embedded. It's your identity is the word I'm trying to say.
Right.
Yeah. So it's funny, but it's a soundtrack. It's just automatic. It's okay. Like, but I do it too.
It, right?
I do it too.
Yeah.
But the better we get with just like, I am this, I am that, and it's positive and where we want to go, it's tricking our subconscious brain to believe I am already that.
Sure.
And then we don't view it as work.
Right.
Or that we have to go and do it or prove it to somebody. It's just who we are.
Yeah. And it was kind of the point with that is like, well, I'm not a writer. Well, dude, I've never written anything.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, how can I not be a writer if I've never written anything? Yeah. And so I started like typing through it, dude. And it took me 5 hours to write 3 pages. Yeah. So I'm not saying I'm great at it, but
now you can say I'm a writer.
Yeah. Right. And
like, so, what's the benchmark? What, who can say, like, it's literally just you say it.
Yeah. Can you write a paragraph or do you write a novel?
Yeah.
They're both writers.
They're both writers. I had a post that I put out 3 months ago because your wife ran in the half marathon. I ran in the half marathon. And a mutual friend of ours, Riley Olson, ran in the half marathon. And we went on, I'd never ran over 10 miles before. I'd never ran over 7.
So I'm thinking, you're not a runner.
Because in my mind, I'm like, I don't like to run, whatever. I did a post after in the car when I got done running 10 miles. And I thought this very same thing. And that's what I said. I was like, I am a runner. I am a runner. And I was like, you can be an astronaut tomorrow. All you have to do is say, I am an astronaut. Think of the tools that we have on social media right now. If you brand yourself and you believe it first, and you go put out different like cool pictures of you being around NASA and you go into these classes and whatever, I mean, you could set that up in a week.
Right.
And then everybody will identify as that Derick is an astronaut. But where did it start? The soundtrack that was in your mind. That's it. So I was like, that's all that took. I'm a cook, professional cook. That's all it took to freaking go do that and then just dive into it, right? I want to do it for a living. Okay, well, go get a freaking client. Now you're getting money. You're professional. Whatever your benchmark is. Who is to say that you're not something? Your subconscious. That's the only person that's going to tell you. Screw everybody else. Screw everybody. Like I literally think to myself, when somebody tries to stop me from my dream, that my soundtrack now, I've programmed it to say, screw them.
Yeah.
Screw them. And it to me, it doesn't mean it in like like in malice or anger or like hatred towards them. It literally just helps me turn down that dial in my mind and just go, I'm moving on.
Yeah, dude. Talk about that you kind of ended. That was at the end. Yeah, of the mastermind. Yeah. Talk about that a little bit because it was great.
It's a perfectionistic mindset. So I see this all the time in my life, and that's why I try to like work on it and tell other people, because I think we all struggle with this. Especially in Utah, we have a perfectionistic mindset. The greatest example for guys is having a bad thought, right? Having a bad thought, whatever that may be for a guy, right? Bad thought comes into your mind. Well, first thing we need to know is you are not your thoughts, and you should not judge your thoughts for coming in, because you are not your thoughts, okay? Let them come in. The first mistake that we make is that we judge the thought and we say, I must be a bad person because I'm having this thought. The second mistake that we make is we try to, it's the analogy of a light switch and a dial. we try to turn it off like a light switch. And that's just as hard as me saying, don't think about an elephant. Don't think about an elephant. Don't think about an elephant. Don't think about that elephant. And you just did.
Yeah.
You thought of an elephant.
Gray one.
A gray one. And that's just how our minds work. That's how they're wired, Derick. So that's a perfectionistic shame, guilt. We're shaming ourselves for thinking it. We're feeling guilty for thinking it because we're judging it as a bad thought. And oh my gosh, if I keep that thought in my mind, I'm going to become this terrible person, Ted Bundy, or freaking a murderer, a killer that I saw on Netflix that went and killed all those people, because we watch these shows and we think, how do people get there? Oh, it's because it all starts with your thoughts, and your thoughts lead to action and all this stuff. No. You are not your thoughts, and your thoughts are going to come in. Don't judge them, and don't try and turn them off like a light switch. Instead, use the dial. So the dial, you just turn it down. That's all it is. So when you have we'll call it inappropriate thought, come in your mind, or a thought that you don't want there is maybe a more fair way to say it. Instead of trying to be perfect at it, we just turn the volume down and go along with our life. Well, no matter how bad the thought is or crazy it is or whatever, just turn it down. Sometimes it's good to say things out loud. Like, this is another strategy that psychologists have used, is you say, out loud, like, that's interesting. You're now bringing it out into the real world, from your brain to the real world, and you're recognizing it as, that's a weird thought, and you're not feeling shame and the guilt for it, and it allows you to turn it down, right? That's, to me, a huge accomplishment for humans if they can do that, because now you're not going to overthink things. And you're just going to be stuck in, I call it the hamster wheel of thought. You're just hamster wheeling these thoughts, and you're constantly stuck in them, and you're like spending so much time and energy, and you are now serving those thoughts. You're giving them power over you. You're in control. Just turn them down.
Yeah.
That's it.
It like I visually think about it in my head as a sound. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's visually a sound in my head. I just think about like your elephant. And you're just like literally turning that down to where, and I don't know, I was thinking about, well, can you take this a step further where you're turning down elephant, tiger. You know, and it's like, can you turn down that negative thing and then get back focused?
Yes.
Get focused again. Get focused on your goals. Get focused on what you're doing in the moment. But get focused on being present.
Well, that's the whole RRR, right? RRR, the acronym: recognize, replace, and repeat.
Yep.
Right? Absolutely. You're replacing with something else.
Right.
That which we resist will continue to persist. So if we have thoughts that we try to resist and feel shame and guilt for having that in there, that which we resist will continue to persist. Period. And this is a big reason why guys, I'm going to be real for a second. This is why guys struggle with porn. Is because that which we resist will continue to persist. When a thought comes in that's along those lines, and you try and turn it off like a dial, it's like your shame, guilt, elephant, but you're thinking of it, right?
Right.
And it's like, you can't do that. Instead, you should go, oh yeah, I'm a human being that has hormones. I'm just going to turn that down. Just going to turn it down.
No big deal. Get back on task.
Turn it down. You know, talk to my wife. Yeah, good. Yeah.
Love it.
That's it, dude.
I love it, man. We're coming close on time. Is there anything?
We're going to end with porn.
Well, I just didn't. I mean,
it's just an extreme example, but I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
Let's just be real, right? I mean, 100% of guys have thoughts like that, 100%. So if that, and a lot of them, maybe it's drugs, maybe it's a big addiction. We all have addictions, by the way.
Sure.
So whatever it is, I don't mean to end on that. Whatever it is, whatever you struggle with and you find yourself thinking the most about, that's the whole dial thing. If it's gaming, dude.
Yeah.
I have a lot of friends that I know, not like close friends, because I'm not a big gamer, but they're addicted to gaming.
Right? Well, there's Joe Dispenza. Dispenza? Dispenza? He has a whole talk about
meditations. That. Yeah, he's a brain guy. Yeah.
That's how you build personalities. That's how you build personality traits. That's how you do that.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're saying is you can literally code your brain.
Yes.
And he taught, like,
if people want to go through that,
look up Joe.
Dispenza is the right way to say it.
Dispenza, yeah. He's insane of stuff that he does. He does one. Again, I'm part of a group with Ed Milet, Andy Frisella, and he does a podcast with Ed Milet, and it's
I've listened to that
awesome.
One. So good.
Yeah. And
Jim Quick is another one that people can look up too. That's just like Joe.
Yep.
Super good.
And he has a crazy story, right? He was dyslexic or had some speech.
Some issues in his brain.
Yeah.
And he literally learned to just like rewire it.
Yeah, it's bananas, dude. Yeah. It's cool that you could do that, and there's proof of it.
That's what's so cool about this whole like neuroplasticity and being able to rewire your brain and change your soundtracks is they used to think that was impossible. Like after a certain age, you were stuck with it.
Yeah, can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah, that was the whole mindset. And I still feel like people have that today because I've seen them the last 20, 25 years of my life and they haven't changed. But you absolutely can. Well, but it's where people then, it's like I am, like, well, I'm not that kind of guy, or I'm not that motivator, I'm not that inspiring, or I'm not that positive, or I am not. It's like, that's your whole problem. The fact that you say, I am not, your subconscious is listening to everything that you say. And the second you just switch, this is not the dial thing, just switch it. Just switch to I am, that's it. That's all it takes. I am an entrepreneur. I am successful. I am worthy of $10 million. I am worthy of a beautiful wife. I am beautiful I am worth it. Like I'm valued enough by God to have a beautiful family. Like I am. Like that is your subconscious and your reticular activating system, your RAS, attracting that in your life, and you will.
Yeah, think about it. Think about we both have kids.
Yeah.
Think about from the second that a 2-year-old for the rest of their life, you tell them you're not good at remembering names.
Yeah.
You're not going to make $1 million. You're not, if you want to break it down to a different level, that's what it is.
Brutal.
And so, and I'm just as guilty as anybody at this, and I'm trying to catch myself on different things and like saying I'm not a writer, right? But it's especially saying I am not. Like that's very, very, very powerful.
Yeah.
But as silly it is to say, to make that little tweak of I am.
Yes.
Think about now you have that 2-year-old and you're saying you are beautiful. You are going to accomplish big things. You are going to be persistent. You are going to be a goal oriented. You are going to be, A, B, and C. Think about what that does.
Yes. Absolutely, dude. That's a good one to end on.
Okay.
We can end on that one.
And no more porn. We're ending on that.
Yeah.
All right, dude. I really appreciate you coming in. That was great. That was fire the whole time, dude.
That was fun.
We need to get you on some more too. We talked about that, dude. Getting you on a couple more that Blue Form and Mallory produces. People need to hear you.
I'm all in. My coach is like, you got to get on podcasts, and I'm like, I'm all in. I mean, it's part of my identity. It's
here he is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get on podcast, Derick.
Send it. Yep.
All right, guys, that's episode 80. Derick Gubler. Shout out your socials if you can, or how people get in contact.
Gubler, pretty much on everything: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube Shorts, whatever you want. So yeah, go follow me. I usually try and put something out there a day. So
yeah, even if you're in the beginning stages where I was at, where I didn't think I was worthy to be in the same room as some of these guys, Derick's one of those guys, and so. It's very easy. You can be anonymous. You can just follow him. And that's the step. Take that step. Take that step to get in the right rooms. Take that step. If you're the smartest person in the room, get out of the damn room. Get in another room with people. You want to grow. You need to grow. If not for yourself, do it for your mom. Do it for your wife. Do it for your kids. Do it for someone. If you can't get that past this, if you don't think you deserve it, someone else around you does. And the other thing is people are going to be looking up to you whether you like it or not. There's someone out there that looks up to Derick. There's someone out there that looks up to me. There's someone out there that looks up to Joe Blow. That's just the way it is, man. Like there's going to be a neighborhood kid. There's going to be a nephew. There's going to be somebody that looks up to you. You owe it to that person to be better.
Absolutely. Oh, that's so good.
And so, so yeah, I'm not usually someone that rants that much, but
dude, no, that I needed to hear that. That's so true. I believe that, and I used to think that as a kid that I want to be like this guy because I know how much I look up to that guy that's pushing me, and I want to be that guy. So just hearing you say that was a good reminder for me to be like, yeah. That's one of the reasons why I'm pushing as hard as I am.
Well, dude, I'm one of those guys looking up to you for sure. I appreciate it, dude. So yeah, dude, episode 80, I'll quit stroking Derick's ego over here. But episode 80, guys, Derick Gubler, go follow him, get in his circles, get in his masterminds. find a way to be around him, and you'll be a better person. That's all I got for you. I know you enjoyed this. If you're still with us, please like, share, comment. We're growing our audience a lot. It's crazy to me, just a kid from D-Town, 80 episodes in now on a podcast, that people are still here watching and paying attention to us. And we just hit 10,000 followers on Facebook, which is insane to me.
So good.
But appreciate all you guys. Appreciate the love and interaction. And we'll see you guys next week.